Welcome back to the Your Invisible Advantage podcast. It's me, T, and we have a really cool episode for you today because I am hoping to shift your perspective with this episode and really have you thinking about money and wealth in a different way. So, what we're going to be talking about today is why money is not wealth and the differences between income and wealth, because I think a lot of people don't quite understand this. And when my perspective started to shift around this, I started to view my business differently, I started to view my income differently, and I started to view my actions as a business owner differently. So these are skills and perspectives that most people never learn, which is why they stay on the hamster wheel of just chasing more money all the time, but never feeling like they're getting ahead. So this podcast, if you are new here, it is for creators, founders, business owners, leaders, people who are building businesses on their own terms. They're building life on their own terms, but we're not out here just chasing money. We want influence, we want impact, and we want to feel like we're actually getting paid for our unique genius of what we're really freaking good at. And we really love to understand here on this side of the internet the invisible mechanisms that are driving everything we do, the operator, the human behind the business. So it's really about looking at, your perspectives around the world, around life, around content, around business, so that you can become free. Because a free person is never capped. They're never caged. They're never struggling with capacity or cash. And that's my goal for you, right? So today what we're talking about is something that keeps a lot of people capped. It doesn't keep them broke. It doesn't keep you like failing and feeling like it's not working, but it does keep you smaller than what you are here to be. So let's get into it. Basically, what we want to have a look at is the difference between money and wealth, okay? So money isn't wealth. Money is a receipt. It's feedback of the value that you have already created in the world, and you are now getting feedback for that and being paid for it. Wealth, we want to look at a little bit differently. So until we understand the difference, we're going to keep confusing activity with progress. Like activity, how much am I doing? Effort, right? So most high earners will feel quite unsafe with money, even though they're making lots of money, even though, at one point they wanted 10K and then they get 10K and then they realize 10K actually isn't that much after they pay taxes and wages and this, that, the other. And then they're like, oh my gosh, after all, that's not even that much. Now I need to make 20K. And then they hit 20K and they realize, well, that's not that fucking much either. And then they get to 50K, 80K, 100K, 150K, and it's all the same thing. Every single level. And I see this constantly is people making really good money, right? But they're still checking their bank balance literally every single fucking day. Now, I don't have a problem with people getting intimate with their money. I actually think a lot of people avoid it and you need to look at it more. But it's like this anxiousness of checking their bank account 24/7, thinking the bank balance is going to save them. They still feel pressure every single time they're launching or every month of like, am I going to make it this month? Like, is it going to happen? They still feel like they're pushing and they constantly push, and they have no like push-pull strategies in their business where they're just constantly pushing, and you're getting tired. Like, you're pushing that rock up a hill and like you are absolutely starting to feel that burnout coming in. That's not a money problem. That's because income without wealth skills can feel quite fragile. And if your business only works when you are quote on, you don't have wealth, you have momentum, which is amazing, but momentum is always going to die in the ass. Momentum is needed, momentum is great. You will probably use it for the first 1 to 3 years in your business. After that, that's when burnout will start to hit in, and that's when we actually need to see what's happening. Wealth is not cash. Yes, you will have a lot of cash if you have wealth, but it's also your capacity. It's your ability to solve problems at a higher level. It's your ability to create leverage instead of effort. It's your ability to turn one win into 10 without having to start over 24/7. It's becoming the most valuable resource in the room. And wealthy people don't chase money. They make themselves literally unavoidable for it to find them. So if we think about two people making the same income, I'm going to give you person A and person B, and I want you to think about this. So person A knows how to sell really hard. They know how to sell, they know how to work hard, they know how to grind when they're needed. They're obsessed, they love it, they love entrepreneurship, but they are a hard worker and they stay in that identity for a very long time. which is why they eventually burn out, is because they never shift that identity from money to wealth, okay? So person B is going to know how to position themselves in the market, aka your brand DNA. They are going to know how to leverage relationships and human psyche. They are going to know how to turn insight into systems and things that can work without their time. They know how to persuade and lead people to decisions faster, because at the end of the day, if you are having to sell really hard, it's because your marketing is not doing the job. The marketing's job is to persuade and lead people to the decision they already want to make, but lead them there faster. Okay? If you have to sell, it's because that's not working. And it's people who know how to become someone's best resource, which means they are valuable. If you are wealthy, you are valuable to other people. People need you. You are their best resource. And these two people, they might earn the same thing this year, but 5 years from now, completely different lives, because one person built capability, the other person built just being really good at output to make the cash, but they never grew out of that. Okay, so sometimes I love money. Money's the coolest and we should all want money. It will change your life so fucking much. And anyone with money knows that, money is great. Money is amazing, but it also doesn't solve your problems, right? So people who obsess over money tend to undervalue themselves. They tend to overwork. They tend to make short-term decisions that are not really the best. They're very ego and fear driven. They tend to panic when things slow down or they have a bit of a dip, because money feels like the source. And this is what I really want you to understand. It is not. Money follows value always. So when value creation stops, money dries up. When value compounds, money accelerates. So what we want to stop asking ourselves is, how do I make more money? Or how do I sign a new client? And start asking yourself and start leveraging, how do I become more useful at a higher level, better than anyone else? Because they're all asking, how do I make more money? If you start asking, how can I become more valuable for people? You will start to make more money. Everything will start to change, because usefulness scales, effort is going to eventually burn out. Or just stay capped, either or. So what this can look like in practice is, when we talk about wealth building, the behavior of the person, the mindset of the person looks different. They are investing in skills that compound. They are investing full stop, period. It's not a, should I invest? It's a, where am I investing? They're building assets, not just one stream of income that they have to solely rely on. They're thinking long-term structure, not short-term win. They are happy to pull the arrow back and take a short-term loss. They're happy to lose $1 million to make 10. I heard that the other day. Who said that? It was on someone's podcast. I forget who it was, but I heard that the other day and it was great. So shout out to whoever that was. I can't credit them because I can't remember who it was. But if you know, they think in systems, not transactions. They don't think things are a one-off. They're all right, is there a pattern here? Is there a system here? Is there something that can be outsourced here? Is there something that can be automated here? They create things that work without constant input. It's not that they're not putting input in. They are working very hard, but they are being smarter with how they work. And they're putting themselves in rooms to be known, not paid yet. And that's where people go wrong. They're putting themselves in rooms to be valuable, to even be in the fucking room. And this is why some people can take time off and they can still earn money. This is why some people can go on to continue building more and more and more. No matter how many losses they have, they're still going to come back and win harder than the person who's never had a loss and has always won. This person over here, the wealth builder, is going to win more, right? So what we want to ask ourselves, and a question that we can look at, is if I removed myself from my business for 30 days, 90 days, whatever, pick your thing, 30 or 90. What would still be working? If the answer is nothing, you don't need more output, you need more leverage, okay? So that is what you want to have a look at. And where are you wasting time just trying to be like, where's my next sale? Where's my next sale? Instead of being like, how can I build and become the biggest resource for other people? How can I be in more service to solve valuable problems for valuable people? Because then you become someone, all you have to do, if you want more money, is say, how can I be more valuable here? Because, and people are like, oh, are you saying that I have to be of high value to get paid? Why would you get paid if you were not of value to someone? I don't understand why people take it as a personal attack. If people are going to spend their money on you, that's going to help you make more money and help you then become the person who can leverage and compound on that, because then you're going to go on to do all the things I said about someone who can build wealth, right? You're going to invest, diversify, put it into your mindset, put it into yourself, all these things, build your systems, etc. That's what happens when you get paid. The money flows on and does that. But if you want people to pay you, I don't understand why it's even a question of, should I be do I need to be of value? Shouldn't I just get paid to be myself? Yes, you get paid to be yourself when you are valuable to someone else, so valuable that they will exchange their money for what you have. Whatever resource you have, if you become a big enough resource for them that they are willing to give their money away, you're good. You will never have to ask, how do I make money again? Because then people with money are willing to give you their money to solve their problems, because you are of value, right? And we're not asking ourselves, how do I just get one more sale? No, we're like, how can I become more valuable over time, right? Wealth isn't about like, oh, what does my lifestyle look like, right? Well, it might be when you're a fucking billionaire. It's actually about freedom of decision, the ability to say no without panic. Like, I don't have to say yes to everyone who will pay me, because I have built a wealthy mindset, number one, but I've actually built wealth with money as well, where I'm not reliant on one person paying me, because I never ask myself, where's my next sale? I ask myself, how can I be more valuable to someone today? And we play the long term. We say no, we don't have to fucking panic about it. We play the long term. We're willing to take short-term losses for long-term gains. We're willing to be in it until it fucking works. Like, I'm not asking myself, what if I launch a 6-month thing and no one signs up? I'm like, well, will I keep selling it until fucking someone signs up? Yeah, I will, right? And it's the way that we move, the way that we make decisions. It's the way that we build with intention instead of urgency. And we are smart with whatever that needs to look like for us to have the means to do that. If you have to work another job, if you have to put money aside, if you have to live below your means for a few years, whatever you need to do it. Because a wealthy person is also a very resourceful person. And I put this on my threads this morning, but another thing is, like, we are also resourceful. So it's like, we become more valuable by investing in our own skills. I don't sit there and say to myself, I'm not good at technology, I'm not good at creating content, blah, 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 I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. If I'm sitting there 6 months later saying the same fucking thing to myself, no wonder I'm not fucking wealthy, right? But that will never happen to me, because that's not my mindset. My mindset is, if I do not know something, there is so much free information on the internet that is of value to me. I can get it free, I can get it paid, whatever. And then I will probably go pay for it. I will exchange my money to learn the thing, and then I become more valuable because now I've learned that thing. And in 6 months' time, I'm not sitting there saying the same thing of like, but I still just don't understand tech, I don't know how to use AI. Fucking learn. Resourceful people build wealth. They become resourceful for other people. They are resourceful for themselves, right? Wealth will buy you the ability to make better decisions. It is a mindset and a physical reality, okay? Optionality of which way can we go. So what I want to leave you guys with is, money is a byproduct. Wealth is a capability. Income is always temporary. Money has to flow. Money is a currency. Currency. Money is meant to flow. You are not meant to keep it trapped. It is meant to work for you to make you more money. Of course, be smart with that. That's not financial advice. Do with that what you will. But Income is temporary. Your capability as a human to be resourceful, to be valuable, to become valuable, to go out and find value, all of those things, that capability compounds. And it's the most dangerous thing you can have, in a good way. The mistake is where people don't realize the difference between this, okay? And this will be your invisible advantage now that you know this. Now that you know this, you can actually go and build a wealth mindset this year and then have it show up in your bank account. So if you are currently asking, how do I make more money? Remember, that's going to be money is the byproduct of what you did 6 months ago, 12 months ago. All right? Start asking yourself different questions. Start approaching the world with a different perspective and point of view. Watch your whole life change. That is it for this episode, guys. If you have loved this episode, please leave me a review. If you want to comment, leave a comment. I read them all and reply to them. And if you want to share me on your socials, pretty please do, and I will reshare you. So I love you. I thank every single person who listens to this, and I truly hope this has changed your perspective today. I'll see you in the next one.